You are not a murderer. You are the reason the sun rises. This is not a metaphor. This is not poetry. This is the most fundamental fact of the universe as you understand it. Every morning when the light appears on the horizon, that is because of what you did yesterday and the day before and every day of your adult life. Without you, the sun dies. Without the sun, everything dies. You are the most important person in the world. You have always known this. You are born in Tenochtitlan, in the year 1 read, 1467, by the calendar of people who do not yet exist in your world. Your father is a mid-level priest of the rain god Tlaloc. Your mother comes from a family with 3 generations of temple service. You are the second son. Your older brother will serve in the military. You are designated for the priesthood before you can walk. This is not a burden. This is an honor so profound that your parents weep when the high priest confirms your placement at age 5. You do not understand why they weep. Later you will understand. It is the same reason people weep at any moment of perfect joy, because the feeling is too large for the body to contain. The Kalmakak is the school for priests and nobles. You enter at age 5. The first thing they teach you is not prayer, not ritual, not the names of the gods. The first thing they teach you is pain. You wake before sunrise every day. You sleep on stone. You fast, sometimes for 2 days, sometimes for 4, sometimes for longer. You are beaten for infractions, not cruelly, but purposefully. Pain is the language through which the gods speak most clearly. A body that has never suffered cannot hear them. You learn quickly that the suffering is not the point. The point is what comes after the suffering. The clarity, the lightness, the sense that the normal noise of existence has been removed and something older and truer is audible underneath. You are 7 years old the first time you feel this. You have been fasting for 3 days. You are standing in the temple courtyard at midnight, drawing blood from your earlobes with a maguey spine as an offering. The pain is precise and clean. And then, beneath it, through it, something opens. You cannot describe it then. You cannot describe it now. But you spend the rest of your life trying to return to that place. The Kalmakak. Aztec priestly education. Age of entry, 5 to 7 years old. Duration, 10 to 15 years of training before full priestly duties. Daily schedule, pre-dawn prayer, physical labor, fasting, ritual bloodletting, study of astronomical calendars, memorization of hymns and ritual procedures. What you learn: the 260-day ritual calendar, the 365-day solar calendar, how to read omens, the complete mythology of the gods, the correct way to perform every sacrifice, bloodletting, regular self-sacrifice, by drawing blood from earlobes, tongue, calves, and genitals using maguey spines or obsidian blades, offered to the gods as nourishment. The logic: the gods sacrifice themselves to create the world. Humans must sacrifice in return. Everything is reciprocal. The universe runs on blood the way a fire runs on wood. This is not barbarism, this is physics. At least it is the physics of 1480. You are 12 when you first witness a full sacrifice. The victim is a warrior, captured in the last flower war. A battle fought specifically to take prisoners, not to kill enemies, not to take territory, but to capture fuel for the gods. He is brought up the steps of the great temple. He is not dragged, he walks. He walks up 114 steps in full view of the city. Tens of thousands of people watching from below. He is painted blue, the color of sacrifice. He wears paper ornaments. He has been fed well for months. He has been treated as an honored guest. Because he is an honored guest, he is not being killed. He is being sent to the gods. He is being transformed. At the top of the temple, 4 priests hold his limbs. The high priest opens his chest with an obsidian blade, one precise cut, practiced 10,000 times. He reaches in and removes the heart while it is still beating. He holds it up toward the sun. The crowd below makes a sound you have never heard before and will spend decades trying to find again. A sound of tens of thousands of people breathing out at the same moment. A collective exhale of relief. The sun will rise tomorrow. You did that. You are 22 when you perform your first sacrifice. 8 years of training. 8 years of waking before dawn, sleeping on stone, fasting, bleeding, memorizing the 400 hymns, learning to read the stars, learning the calendar, learning the names and appetites and moods of the 2,000 gods you serve. The first time the obsidian blade is in your hand and the man is before you, you feel nothing you expected to feel. No hesitation, no doubt, no fear, only focus. The same focus you feel when you perform any precise action you have practiced 10,000 times. The same focus a carpenter feels when he drives a nail he has driven 1,000 times before. The same focus a musician feels playing a piece he knows completely. You make the cut, you reach in, you hold the heart toward the sun. Afterward, the high priest places his hand on your shoulder and says nothing. He does not need to say anything. You already know. Human sacrifice in the Aztec world. Purpose: to feed the sun god Huitzilopochtli with blood and hearts, allowing the sun to complete its daily journey and rise again. The fifth sun, according to Aztec belief, 4 previous worlds existed and were destroyed. The current world, the fifth sun, was created when the gods sacrificed themselves. It requires constant feeding to continue. Number of sacrifices. Estimates vary widely. Spanish sources claim 20,000 per year at peak. Modern historians suggest lower numbers. The skull rack. Zompantli. Skulls of sacrificed victims, displayed on wooden racks in the temple precinct. Recent excavation of the main skull rack in Mexico City. Archaeologists found over 650 skulls and thousands of fragments, still being excavated. Who was sacrificed? Primarily war captives, also slaves purchased specifically for the purpose. How captives were treated before sacrifice: fed well, given quarters, treated with respect, some for months. The victim's perspective, as understood by the Aztecs, the sacrificed person did not die, they transformed. They joined the sun in its journey. It was the highest possible fate. Whether the victims agreed with this interpretation, unknown. The years pass. You rise within the temple hierarchy, junior priest, then assistant to the high priest of Huitzilopochtli, then keeper of the sacred calendar, responsible for knowing the exact ritual requirements of every day of the 260-day cycle. Then, at 34, high priest of the eastern precinct. Your days are structured to the minute. 3 a.m., wake. Blow the conch shell that signals the beginning of the ritual day. 4 a.m., first offerings, incense, blood, copal, sunrise. The crucial moment. The sun must be greeted with ceremony, precisely as it clears the horizon. You have done this every day for 20 years. You will do it every day until you die. If you miss it, the sun might not complete its journey. You have never missed it. You oversee 47 sacrifices in your first year as high priest. This is not many. Festival seasons require more. The dedication of the Great Temple in 1487, the year you are 20, required, by the accounts you were given as a young priest, somewhere between 10,000 and 80,000 sacrifices over 4 days. You were not yet high priest then, but you were there. The 4 lines of captives stretched from the temple to the edges of the city and beyond. The priests worked in shifts. The steps of the great temple ran red continuously for 4 days. The smell of blood and copal smoke hung over Tenochtitlan like weather. You remember thinking, the gods must be pleased. You remember feeling a pride so vast it had no edges. You helped with this. You were part of this. You fed the sun for 4 days straight. The great temple of Tenochtitlan. Location: the center of Tenochtitlan, now Mexico City. The ruins are directly beneath the main square. Height: approximately 60 meters, equivalent to a 20-story building. Steps: 114 on the main staircase. At the top, 2 shrines side by side, one to Huitzilopochtli, the sun god, one to Tlaloc, the rain god. The dedication ceremony of 1487. 4 lines of captives stretching for miles in every direction, sacrificed over 4 days. The most documented mass sacrifice in pre-Columbian history. The Spanish who arrived in 1519, they were horrified. They were also slaveholders who would work millions of people to death in silver mines over the next century. History does not offer clean moral high ground. You are 40 when you meet the strangers. You hear about them first from the coastal reports. Beings with white skin and hair on their faces, riding animals like enormous deer, carrying sticks that made thunder and fire. Some of the priests say they are gods. Some say they are demons. You say they are men. You have read the omens. You have read the calendar. You know that this is the year one read, the year that the god Quetzalcoatl was prophesied to return from the east. You know that Moctezuma II, the emperor, is treating the strangers with extreme caution because of this prophecy. You also know that the obsidian blade does not care about prophecy. The strangers come to Tenochtitlan. You see them from the temple. They look at everything. They look at the Tzompantli, the skull rack, with expressions you cannot fully read. One of them vomits. The interpreter explains to them what the rack is for, what the sacrifices are for, why the gods require blood. They do not understand. You did not expect them to. What happens next takes 2 years. The strangers leave. Then they come back with armies, not just their own people, but thousands of your enemies, the Tlaxcalans and others who have hated Tenochtitlan for generations. The city is besieged. Aqueducts are cut. Food runs out. Water runs out. Then smallpox comes. A disease none of your medicines, none of your prayers, none of your rituals can touch. You perform sacrifices every day during the siege. The captives are harder to come by. The battle lines are wrong. The flower wars are impossible. You sacrifice what you can. Slaves, volunteers, anyone. The sun still rises. You take this as confirmation. The sun still rises, which means the gods are still present, which means Tenochtitlan can still be saved, which means you must not stop. You do not stop. August 13th, 1521. The city falls. You are in the temple when the Spanish soldiers come. They destroy the shrines first. They throw down the statues of Huitzilopochtli and Tlaloc. They replace them with a cross and a figure of a woman holding a child. They pour water on the heads of the surviving priests and tell them they are now Christians, that their gods were demons, that everything they have ever done in service of those gods was sin. You do not argue. Not because you agree, because the soldiers have swords and you have nothing. They put you to work. Not as a priest, as a laborer. You carry stones. You help demolish the great temple. The temple you served for 40 years and use its stones to build a cathedral. You are 54 years old. You carry stones. The sun rises every morning. You notice this. You track the calendar in your head, even though the calendar is now forbidden. The sun rises. You fed it for 40 years. Perhaps it has enough stored now. Perhaps what you gave it will last a little longer. What happened after? Tenochtitlan destroyed. Mexico City built directly on top of it. The great temple buried under the main square for 450 years. The great temple rediscovered, 1978, by electrical workers digging in downtown Mexico City. Excavations continue today. Aztec religion, declared illegal by the Spanish. Priests killed or forced to convert. Sacred books, codices being burned. Most knowledge of Aztec religion comes from the few codices that survived, and from Spanish descriptions written by priests, trying to understand what they were destroying. The Aztec people did not disappear, became the majority population of Mexico. Today, approximately 1.5 million people speak Nahuatl, the Aztec language. The sun still rises every morning. Make of that what you will. You die in 1528, 7 years after the fall. You die in a city that is no longer your city, speaking a language you refuse to learn, carrying the calendar in your head that nobody around you believes in anymore. You die believing what you have always believed. The sun rose this morning. It will rise tomorrow. You helped with that. 40 years of pre-dawn prayers. 40 years of sleeping on stone. 40 years of the obsidian blade and the open chest and the heart held toward the light. You fed the sun. The sun is still there. This is enough. This has always been enough.